I have in front of me 2 cosmic horror board games. One, Arkham Horror, the classic game of Lovecraftian adventure, for 1 to 8 players if you are insane, which the game will probably drive you insane, ages 13 to adult, by Richard Launius and Kevin Wilson. This is the revised printing, already a relic, as I'm pretty sure newer editions of Arkham Horror require an app to play. This particular one came out in 2010. On my right, I have Arkham Horror, no relation, Mansions of Madness, a game by Corey Konishka, a game of exploration, mystery, and horror for 2 to 5 players, a much more reasonable amount of players. Thank you very much. Also by Fantasy Flight Games. This one is a relic by now. I'm pretty sure the newest edition of Mansions of Madness requires an app to play. Also produced in 2010. What are the odds? What are the differences between these 2 games? Well, the differences are myriad. Arkham Horror came out actually a long time ago. Its first edition is literally an antique now. And although it has a ridiculously large setup area for its board, cards, and trinkets, it plays a lot more like a classical board game. At least more like a classical board game than the regular fare available on this channel, while Mansions of Madness is more like a dungeon crawler, taking up an incredible amount of space on the gaming table with its board, cards, and trinkets. There's literally nothing on the box that tells you how long a game might be played. Well, that's kind of crazy. Now, just a little bit about me. I actually love the works of H.P. Lovecraft, at least most of those that I have actually read. My favorite story by Lovecraft is one of his 4 novels called The Case of Charles Dexter Ward. Yeah, I know. Most people are like, oh, at the the Mountains of Madness. I get it. Trust me, it's fine. I get it. The Cthulhu mythos is fine. It's fine. It's okay. But I wish people would read a little more into the other works, be a little more diverse. I'm sure there's a small selection of people in my audience, perhaps, that deifies the Reanimator series. I haven't read that, but like a lot of the works, they're not very movieable at all. I don't know why I'm going into this here. This is a completely different rant. We just skip right past that. So which of these cosmic horror games would I prefer to play? Which game about facing unknown cosmic entities, where you aren't sure if you can trust the person beside you is still who they claim to be, or if they've fallen to the corruption of madness around them? I say that choice, my friends, is very easy. Between these 2 games, I would prefer to play Warhammer 40k Relic. This is based on the Talisman game system. It is a game of heroic struggle in the Warhammer 40k universe for 2 to 4 players, published by WizKids, and is literally Talisman with a Warhammer 40k skin. If you didn't know about this game, we're about to unbox it, and actually not unbox or look at any of these other 2 games in detail at all. Sorry. You've just been trolled by a master. There are a couple of different games that have the words Warhammer and Relic in them. I don't know why my white balance is going crazy, going absolutely nuts. Warhammer 40k Relic is the Talisman game, and Warhammer Quest Lost Relics is a feeble attempt at a Warhammer Quest game. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's whatever. It's Warhammer Quest. It's got to be at least fine. Let's switch to another camera angle, if you don't mind. Here we go, the normal wide lens. We have our beautiful board, our beautiful rules of play manual. If you've played Talisman, we have a little bit more to do here. We've got a little bit more to understand to see why this particular game of Talisman is different than other Talisman games. But the basics are going to be very, very similar to other Talisman games. And I say other Talisman games because it's not just Talisman first, second, third, fourth, fifth edition that I'm talking about here. But speaking from experience, Talisman, the Batman Supervillains edition, is Talisman with a little bit of an added mechanic of having Batman roam through the halls of Arkham while you're trying to escape. So that mechanic's a little bit different. It's something that's not present by default in games of Talisman. It's something that you have to learn, and if you want to play a game without that, then you're just playing normal Talisman with the Batman skin, and that's totally fine too. But like for winning the game, a player has to overcome the dangers of the inner tier and travel to the scenario space in the center of the game board, and you'll see the game board here in just a second. You get to gain levels in this one, which is pretty cool, but then like your skill tests and your skill rolls are going to play out just like normal Talisman. There's also the corruption mechanic that will put a stop to your gameplay. You have to start a new character if you become corrupted. This is separate from the mechanic that eliminates you, separate still from being vanquished. This 2019 production is really a pretty package. It's gonna be so cool to add to any Warhammer 40k enjoyers' space. We've got, with this, some dials that we're going to have to put together. Tons of counters and chits. Then we've got our characters. And this is where Talisman games that play like Talisman, but have their own flavor and their own theme, really shine, having these characters on here, because there's so much potential for lots of characters. We've got our Ultramarines captain for the Adeptus Astartes, a sanctioned psyker, Adeptus Astra Telepathica, an Ordo Malleus Inquisitor from the Inquisition, a Canoness from the Adeptus Sororitas. Hello, Battle Sister. Here are the backs of those particular cards. As in Talisman, you get special abilities that are unique to the character that you choose, which lends a little bit of an element of strategy when you're starting up and figuring out how you're going to play. Your strength, willpower, and cunning traits, as well as your life. Your asset limit, which changes character from character. Your starting space, in this case the Ultramar Emissary. And then you've got a level up track here on the top. You'll move your level peg on the level track. You'll receive the top rewards first and then the bottom rewards per level. You don't see the track and the peg because those are over here on the section where we've got to punch these out for our dials and whatnot. But this is super cool. Your character card will just fit right in here, and you'll be able to track all the stuff for your character with this dashboard. It's very handy. Do I prefer dashboards over chits and card values? I prefer hero cards being of a different design, not just like the standard poker going in with the rest of the deck. I'm actually not sure which one of those I prefer, but I do actually like the design of the dashboard having its own dials and stuff. I'd have to kind of think on what the perfect dashboard looks like. But until then, we've got the Rattling Snipers from the Imperial Guard also, as well as a Calidus Assassin from the Officio Assassinorum. I haven't seen this word before. Assassinorum. Zinorum? I'm going to get flagged for so many times I've said ass. A Tech Priest Ingenseer from the Adeptus Mechanicus. This is an awesome character. And a Rogue Trader from Imperial Nobility. I say from, they're not really from that, they are of that. An Ogren Imperial Guard and a Commissar Imperial Guard. I'm not seeing like alignment for these guys, so maybe alignment doesn't play into the game of Relic. On this board we have confrontations. And these are kind of like the game modes. So these would kind of be like your endings in Talisman. The Mystery Beyond has no special game rules, and you just win the game if you achieve this. I do not like the Adeptus Mechanicus babies. I do not. The winged cyborg babies, they creep me out. I just don't. Here's another one for the Chaos Manufactorum. Chaos Undivided, I see. Corruptis. Kairos Fate Weaver. And the Lost Flagship of St. Antius. This game, by the way, has maybe two. Hold on. Two. It has two expansions, Halls of Terra and Nemesis. Halls of Terra is based on the capital, while Nemesis is based on Tyranids, and lots of them. I feel kind of robbed not having those elements present in this game because I feel like Tyranids are such an important part of 40k. By the way, you're not getting the same crappy WizKids miniatures that you get with pretty much everything else from this era and every era that WizKids and you're getting better miniatures. You're getting some pretty awesome busts here, actually. You'll go ahead and choose a color, and for once, it's not just like the standard primary colors. They actually have nice colors here. I mean, we have this nice brown, which I would choose over yellow any day. Gray, and then we've got this nice sort of, that's pretty accurate on camera for coloration. It's a purple, and then we have a green. They're nice colors. It's not just like blue, green, yellow, red. I appreciate that. Then you'll take your miniature of your bust, or the character that you have selected, and you will place them right onto that pedestal. There we go. Right up the behind. And now your pawn's gonna look a little bit like that. A little bit, maybe, I don't know, not the most balanced. Kind of silly now that I look at it. You know, after you take out all of those character cards and confrontations, there's not a lot left in here, which just goes to show that Talisman is pretty timeless in how simple it is after you get everything set up and ready to play. And then like the next time you want to play, you're probably not gonna have to break out the rules for any reason. I mean, you're probably gonna have it all under control. We'll take a look at the rest of these miniatures. We'll get the board set up and we'll take a look at some of the cards. We're looking at the Ogren here, by the way. Then we've got our Sister of Battle. She's beautiful. I'm sorry, guys. I'm one of those Sisters of Battle simps. I can't help it. They're too awesome. Is it predictable? I don't care. I'm thinking this miniature is going to have to stay out because she is objectively the coolest Battle Sister I have. I don't think I realized that. All of these busts are pretty cool though. Like, they're all going to be the coolest version of anything I could have 40k related at this point. The Ultramarines captain looks surprisingly badass. This guy would take an awesome paint job, I think. Does anybody have this game out there? Have you painted your minis? I think they'd look so good painted. Our Sanctioned Psyker is up next. Loving his staff. And then like, he's got like a really mysterious backpack. I'm sure you guys already know. These are the guys that like 1,000 of them have to die in sacrifice every single day for the Emperor to live. Is that correct? Okay, and then we've got our Inquisitor who looks really cool. He's like jacked for some reason, but he's got a really cool sword. I like him. Our Commissar looks so silly. I know I would be very much punished for saying that if I were a member of the Guard. But I can say it in real life without being punished, since I know that all of 40k is satire. They managed to make the skeezy looking rogue trader actually really cool and badass in his miniature. I like that one a lot. Man. Then we've got a Rattling Sniper. Looks really cool. Miniature wise. Artwork wise, it's like, I don't really know this character. I don't know that I would ever play as this character. He's okay. Not sure why they couldn't do like a Blood Angel or a Chaos Marine. The Kaladesh Assassin is next. Super cool. I have no idea who she is, who these people are. I just know it is a nice looking miniature. I saved the coolest one for last just for you guys. The Tech Priest Engine Seer, whose face is actually kind of messed up looking. Maybe it's getting a little bit lost in the details, or maybe a good paint job. Oh no, his face looks like that. That's true to form. Okay, it's got his skull in hand and this giant, I don't know what that's called. You guys are really gonna have to school me on this 40k stuff because I would love to know. But yeah, he's one of the coolest ones in this box, and his artwork is one of the coolest ones in the set of cards. Okay, it's board time. Like, no, not to get bored, because we're never boring here. The one thing you should already be aware of, that white balance, is chaos infecting my camera? Is that this board is already possessed by chaos, and it was developed with chaos in mind. And I say that because it is a 6-fold board, and it is one of the most diabolical designs for a 6-fold, because it goes in half like so, and now I have to go flip the rest of it all around. I hate 6-fold boards. That's kind of a lot. I don't mind some designs for 6-fold. It really depends on how they have you unfold it. Some developers want to watch the world burn, however, and that is what we have on our hands here today. Oh, goodbye. Okay, it was nice seeing you. And now we have to deal with the fact that this thing wants to kind of flip up on us. There we go. We're going to change the camera angle again, though, because this is nuts. Okay, we have all kinds of locations based on the Warhammer 40k universe. Webway Portal, spaces named after space hulks, Tebian 2 Asteroid Belt, the Shadowed World, and the Eldar Craft World, the Guardians of the Rift, the Foothills of Lilioth, and the Darkened Glade. This board shows up so nicely on camera, and yet it is like a little bit harder to see in real life. It has this matte finish, and I don't know, everything is slightly muddled. We have St. Antius Sanctuary, and then let's just turn this whole board around, which again is not the most simple thing to do. Okay. So yeah, no, this is one of those where you have to be very mindful. It's a Z shape, and I think most boards are like this, but it's hard to remember this. It's a Z shape, and then you unfold it the other way, Ash. There we go. Easy, so easy. 0 deaths. And now we've got the Blackstone Fortress, an Orc Death Snagga's Kill Cruiser, the Blasted Nebula, Fortress World Komarek, the Hive Fleet Karkanos, Tyrannid Hive Ship, Tyrannid Invasion, the River of Fire, the Burning Mountain, the Devouring Wilds, the Grey Knight Envoy, the Docking Station, Warhound Titan Bay, Core Cogitator, the Titan Manufactorum, the Omniscient Shrine, the Ultramar Emissary. I have not looked at the center of the board yet. We will do that now. It starts with the Warp Rift, Crone World Ilan Sitari, Chaos Titan Mouse Furia, then Demon World Braxis. I've got to flip this board again. We're gonna do this a little bit differently though. We're just gonna swoop it like so. Just a little swoop, 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 dee-doo. Oh god. Chaos incarnate. But before we continue on that middle track, I have neglected to tell you that there are titles applied to sections of the board, which I find to be really cool. This is the Death World of Morgareth, while this set of tiles is the Maiden World of Serelica. And then we've got the Lost Front, the Devastated Reaches, and so on. Anyway, continuing from Demon World Braxis, we go into the Palace of Slaanesh. These are your classic Talisman middle board or middle track spaces. You have challenges to overcome on every space that are likely to send you right back to one of the outer tracks. Then you go into the Garden of Nurgle. When you're here, your family. And then the Fortress of Khorne. And then the Maze of Tzeentch, because my nerd bird buddy really did say, just solve this maze and I'll let you go. Before you make it to the center icon, the Chaos symbol, where your confrontation card will be placed at the beginning of the game. Alright, so for a blessing, everything goes back into the box fairly simply, with cutouts being given to us for the cards. Across 3 categories, we have blue, yellow, and, of course, red. These are war gear cards. They represent weapons, armor, and equipment players can acquire during the game, like the Pentagrammic Ward, the MK2 Combat Carapace, the Combat Shield, the Refractor Shield, the Monkey's Knot, the Monkey! You've got some Inquisitorial Tomes, Medikits, I almost said Canadian Sniper Rifle. Wow! 4-sword adventures, executor pistols. There are red, yellow, and blue threat decks. Threat decks represent events, enemies, encounters, and assets players can discover during the game. And there are a lot of threat cards. Allow me to show you just a few. They're fairly equal in number between the red, yellow, and blue. As for the difference between the decks, the majority of the enemies in the red threat deck have a strength attribute and the orc trait. The majority, not all of them, like the commissars in the orc deck. We've got Crusader, Devastated Reaches Bounty, Hive World Bounty, Storm Shield, Chainsword, so that you can see that there are assets in here. Enemy Without, not a single Tyrannid miniature. You have to get the expansion for that, and it's expensive. Blood Axe Gretchen, love that. Death Skull Squigs, love that. Evil Sons Boy. Golf Weird Boy, Death Skull Mech Boys, Freebooter, Golf Burner, Golf Shooter Boys, Vulture Squad, Evil Sons Warbiker. It just goes on and on like that. Golf? The majority of the enemies in the blue threat deck have a willpower attribute and the Tyrannid trait. So we're going to see Tyrannids in this deck. We're going to see Gargoyles, Hominants, Termagants, Deathspitter Warriors, Gene Stealers, Lictors, Scything Talon Warriors, and Carnifexes, and so on. There's a Tzeentch Cult Initiate, Plague Heretics, Tech Bandits, Plague Mutants, Apostate Preachers, Alluring Daemonettes, Horrors of Tzeentch, Speakers of Slaanesh, and more and more. This is a really cool deck, and by default is my favorite. And then the yellow threat deck. The majority of the enemies in the yellow threat deck have a Cunning attribute, and, go ahead, take a guess. That's right, it's the Eldar trait, for some reason. For some reason, the Eldar got their own deck traits. That's kind of silly, don't you think? Maybe not. These damn Xenos, we've got to get rid of them. Atarok, Alpha Eldar, Farseer, Asurman, Avatar of Cain, Hive Scumboss, Mutants, Warp Tainted Navigators, Plague Cultist, Weird, Warp Dabbler. Yeah, the list goes on and on and on. Renegade Warp Trader, Chaos Space Marine Havoc, love that. Herald of Slaanesh, Mask of Slaanesh, Cybernetic Manufacturer, Imperial Court, Hive, Forgotten Portal, Rogue Traders, and it just goes on, like I said. And yet I kept going. These are relic cards. They represent sacred artifacts that have powerful abilities. What if there was another word for relic or artifact? There isn't one. Soul Render, Hammer of Brother Scaras, Wellspring, Magnamistress, Ark of Secrets, and so on. The Golden Armor of Lord Dominus, the Nameless Blade, Litany of Protection. All these sound so cool. I really love how all of these sound. They're so neat. Bones of a Fallen Saint. I love them. These are corruption cards, and they win the award for the best card back graphic. They represent mutations that can affect players in both positive and negative ways. I know exactly what they're talking about. That extra ear that you form whenever you become a Chaos follower, that's going to help you here, but you're going to get a lot of funny looks at parties. But then, when life gives you mutations, you make mutation aid. Just turn that extra ear into a party trick, and you'll be the life of the party, thereby damning an entire party of foolish humans to the ways of Slaanesh, Nurgle, or another Chaos God of your choosing. We have Rapid Regeneration, Cloud of Flies, Overgrown Body Part, The Rot, Crisis of Faith, Stupor, Emaciation, Irrational Fear, a Hideous Appearance, and so on. If I shuffle these, which Chaos trait will I get for myself today? And my Chaos trait just for me is The Lost and the Damned. What about a Chaos trait for you, the viewers at home? What are you going to get today? I think you should get this I cast upon you, Warp Frenzy. Both of those were boring. Next up, we've got mission cards. These describe objectives and the rewards for completing them. Infiltrate the Eldar with pleasure. Kill the Tyranids with pleasure. Stop the Waaagh with well, actually, I wanna join in on the Waaagh. Aid our allies. Make the pilgrimage. Report to the Fortress World. Report to the Blackstone Fortress, and so on and so forth. Actually, really like those. Always a fan of mission cards. And finally, we have power cards. Power cards grant players temporary abilities and bonuses. Each power card describes the effect and timing of the ability or bonus it provides, like Zealous Faith, Pilfer, Righteous Crusade. These are pretty much your spell cards. Unshakable Faith, Rapid Recovery, Spoils of War, Litany of Hate, and so on. Funny thing, I took all of the cards out. I took them out of their cellophane packaging. I put them back in, and 2 out of 3 of the stacks want to spill over, and I don't know that they wanted to do that before. Maybe it was just because they were in the cellophane that they didn't try. These are charge tokens, and they are placed on specific war gear and threat cards to indicate the number of uses the card has remaining. Very important. These are influence tokens, and they are a currency players can accumulate and spend during the game. So this is your coinage. And that pretty much is Warhammer 40k Relic. Now, the expansions come with a host of more highly detailed miniatures. The Nemesis expansion allows you to play as one of 4 evil characters, including a Khorne, Berserker, an Eldar Exarch, a Tyranid Broodlord, or a Champion of Slaanesh, and technologies shunned by the Ecclesiarchy, and additional rules of play that will allow you to bring the game up an additional 2 players. So you can now play up to 6 players with the Nemesis expansion. Whereas the Halls of Terra expansion, I'm so sorry, I should be showing you this stuff, not just talking about it, but look, it's a quick reference! Halls of Terra expansion comes with 4 more detailed miniatures and additional cards to shuffle into your decks. Some components actually require the Nemesis expansion to play, so if you're looking to get the expansions for Relic after you acquire Relic, but you're not sure which one to get, Nemesis is the one that you really should get first. If only one, and definitely first if you're getting both. And that's Warhammer 40k Relic. I probably should apologize for the trollage at the beginning of the video, but I'm not sorry, so it would be insincere. But at the same time, if you really wanted to... Oh, crap. I guess I deserve that. Ah, crap. You guys couldn't make your trays tall enough, or what? It's not that hard, game developers. It's not that hard. It is not that deep of a challenge. You know, I usually keep this stuff. I don't ever use it, but I usually always keep it, and I think I'm just gonna stop doing that. It's just weight. It's needless weight on my stuff, on my shelves. I don't need it. I should just go through and throw it all away. I bet you I get rid of like 11 pounds of nothing but cardboard slag. If you want to see either of those Mansions of Madness or Arkham Horror games unboxed, presented on the channel, do let me know. It's really hard to play games meant for more than one player on the channel, considering I'm only one person, and it's pretty difficult to get another adult over here to play these games with me, learn them, let alone play them on camera for, you know, potentially thousands of people to see, if I'm lucky. But doesn't mean it won't happen. You gotta let me know if you want to see it regardless, and then I can at least try. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next exciting adventure, and until then, onward, brave Marines.